Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The topic for these evening classes will be a different one. That's because sometimes one likes to eat chapatis or for lunch and then have what? Pasta for dinner. What is the ingredient? Wheat. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Same thing. So here also, the ingredient, the subject matter of the morning classes is A for Atma, B for Brahman, C for Chit, D for Dharma. And the evening class subject matter, ditto. Same. But still, the palate craves diversity. If you are fed on a diet of rice and dal one day, and then the next day what? Dal and rice the next day. What will happen? What will happen? What was that? Actually, what will happen is you will become a sadhu. That's what will happen. That's what will happen. Okay. And so the palate craves diversity. And already to come here, one has given up so much. One has given up time with the family. One has given up their favorite coffee or tea mug with which one is drinking every day. One has given up all their, what is it called? Strong preferences, raga, strong prejudices, dvesha, to come here and, stay in unfamiliar surroundings. In fact, this is a 5-star ashram, Yeah, really. Sadhus come here and say, what's going on here? Is this a marriage hall or is this ashram? They are surprised sometimes. But, we want you to be comfortable, stay-wise. We want you to be comfortable staying in your head also. So this is a human urge. You've given up so much already. And therefore, to have a different text that changes the pace a little bit, even though it's the same subject matter, the sauce may be different, the way it is prepared may be different, and there is a delight in approaching the same thing from several angles and standpoints. And that's not the only reason for the different text for the evening. Another reason is so that our understanding is deepened and the assimilation is greater. There is a maxim in ancient India called Sthanu Nikandana Nyaya. If usually when we have a religious function, there is a canopy of leaves, flowers, fruits. You can even suspend a small child, it is so strong. Very nicely made of, these woven, very intricately woven palm leaf strips. Looks beautiful also. That has to be, balanced after erecting 4 poles. This is called kind of a mandapa, where all religious ceremonies take place, and also to indicate that there is some shubha. Shubha means something auspicious going on in my house, please come. So in the olden days, there was no invitation card, SMS, nothing like that. Just you walk on the street and there is a naming ceremony here, there is a baby shower there, and there is something fun going on here. You know that by this canopy of leaves, flowers, everything. And all that is balanced on these 4 poles. And the poles therefore have to be strong. And nowadays, unfortunately, what they do is they just pour some cement and put the poles. Not nice, for the environment. But in the ancient days, they used to just dig in the soil, put the pole, and fill it up with soil and use these things to tamp it down. Then after all the 4 poles were in place, somebody would shake the poles. If the pole, any of the 4 poles shook, that means the canopy, it cannot balance. And so too, this is what is called sthanu. Sthanu means pole. Nikandana, repeatedly shaking it. And so what does it teach us? Our understanding has to be strong like this, like these poles. That can, like the poles that can bear the weight of this canopy. Similarly, we should be able to carry this knowledge gracefully, with grace, and easily, with grace and without effort. Effortlessly, easily, and fully. To inhabit that fullness. Now that is achieved by studying multiple texts, because what we miss in one, we gain in the other. So that means each text is not complete, it is complete. But we miss it because of our own preferences and prejudices. I love Vidyaranya. I heart Vidyaranya. But I don't like this. I like that one. There are all these notions in the head. And so for that, for easy and deep assimilation, the same problem of self-ignorance is tackled through a number of different angles. Very nice. And so this particular angle is a very unique angle, and although it's a different text, it has a nice segue from what we have been talking about, makes a nice segue, because it is a eulogy, it is a praise song of a student for his teacher. And seen through the eyes of the student, we see that the glory of the teacher. And the teacher is Adi Sankara, who came on the, on the firmament of the Shastra like a comet, blazed through. It is said he lived for 32 years, that was it. In fact, his parents were childless for a long time. One day his mother had a dream where Lord Shiva came in the dream and said, "Would you like a son who is brilliant but short-lived? Or would you like a son with a long lifespan but dull, slightly dull? Which would you prefer?" And in the dream, she, without hesitation, chose the former. So it is said that he came with a 16-year lifespan, and he had 4 very highly exalted, evolved students, and each of them gave 4 of their own years, because he was so dear to them, and he was so dear to the whole world because he is singly credited with re-establishing non-duality, Advaita philosophy, in a way that people could understand and embrace it immediately. And so that's how he lived for 32 years. And the description of the teacher, very interesting here, is in fact the description of the knowledge. So in describing the teacher, what are we doing? We are eulogizing not just Adi Sankara, but the knowledge, which is why I say this is not a cult-based tradition. It is not that Adi Sankara is a cult figure that everybody is attracted to. No. He is not considered the founder of Advaita. Advaita was already there before he came into the picture. He is not considered the founder of Hinduism. Hinduism doesn't have a founder, which is very nice. That is why it is a source of wonder. Because we find often that in traditions that have a founder, the founder, of course, passes away, and then after that, there is so many doubts. What did she mean? What did he say? The followers flounder after the founder goes away. And then there are sects and so many things. But we don't have that problem because there is no founder. Adi Shankara is not the founder, Rama is not the founder, Krishna is not the founder. There is no founder. There is knowledge in the form of the Veda that was revealed to sages in high states of meditation. Those sages are also not considered the authors. In fact, some of the mantras in the Veda, we don't even know their names. The teachers, unless one is like Adi Shankara, are generally speaking anonymous. Unless suddenly there is a Vidyaranya, suddenly there is an Adi Shankara, so things like, unless one is such an exalted person, it is the force of the knowledge. The knowledge itself carries the lineage forward, because that is how it's been. And so, that is one thing. The second thing is this, that unlike other branches of knowledge, Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, self-knowledge, is, it is non-separate from the knower. If you study any branch of knowledge, if you study it, if you teach it, it will always be separate from you. Like an accountant dealing with numbers, accounts. After 25 years of teaching accounts, doing accounts, the person doesn't become a digit, a figure. Yeah. But that's not the case. Here the Upanishad says, Brahmavit Brahmaiva bhavati. The knower of Brahman is Brahman. The teacher of microbiology doesn't become a Kida. Kida means microbe. Yeah. For many years, the student was looking up to the teacher of microbiology, and then after the teacher became a microbe, had to look down at the teacher. Because tiny. Microscopic. No. This is how this knowledge is very dissimilar, completely unlike any other body of knowledge, because you are what you study what you already are, and then you become what you study, become again within heavy quotes. I always say the Vedanta teacher should permanently have the hands like this. Everything is as though. Always we keep on going like this. Air quotes, yeah. So, here you are non-separate from that. You are non-separate from the whole, from Ishvara, God, the source of the universe. And that is what is the subject matter of this teaching, revealed through sentences in the Upanishad called Mahavakya. And so this is already you. Then what is the teacher? The one who knows that is the teacher. So there is really no separation between the student and the teacher. No separation. As though separation. As though role. As though the student says, I am your student. Please teach me. Like in the Bhagavad Gita. Shishyasteham shadhi mam prapannam. Shadhi means teach, okay? Shadhi is not shadi, okay? Shadi is marriage. Shadhi, teach. Please teach me. Arjuna says to Lord Krishna, teach me. I am your student. Please teach me. I have come to you. So, this is a role. And the separation is an as though separation for the sake of assimilating this knowledge. And all the rules are for the sake of assimilating this knowledge. This is what it is. And so, in this ecstatic eulogy of Adi Sankara by his student, we don't just see the glory of Adi Sankara. We see a lot more than the glory of Adi Sankara. We see a eulogy. We are treated to a eulogy of this knowledge. We are treated to the subject matter of what this knowledge can do if we allow it. We are treated to a wonderful understanding of a proper relationship that one can forge with the teacher so that one does not miss this knowledge. Then finally we are treated to the prayojana, the purpose of this knowledge. What it has done for the teacher is what it can do for me. Because the teacher is just you, is not separate from you, but the teacher, you are on the way, and the teacher is someone who is further along. That's all it is. So in the teacher, you see yourself in the future. It's not that the teacher says, I am Brahman but not you. No. This is why it makes this eulogy very, very worthy of study. These are some of the reasons. Another reason is that it is composed in a very interesting and an extremely difficult meter called Totaka. The first ta is dental and the other one is cerebral. Totaka. Yeah. Totaka. And then the other word is Ashtakam. Ashtakam means an octet. 8 verses. We have like this. We have a quintad, we have octets, 5 verses, panchakam, quintads. Like sadhana panchakam, a quintad of all kinds of practices that one can have to prepare one for this knowledge. Manisha panchakam, a quintad of wisdom. Ashtakam. Then we also have Shatkam, group of 6 verses. Who can give an example of a Shatkam? Nirvana Shatkam, very good. Nirvana Shatkam. 6 verses of freedom. Dashakam, group of 10 verses. Like this, it is very common. So this has got 8 verses. That's why it is Totaka plus Ashtakam, Totakashtakam. So what is so nice about this meter? It has the it has two iambic syllables, laghu, laghu, small, small, and then one is, the last one is a dactyl, guru, long syllable. Short, short, long. Vidita khila shastra suddha jaladhe. There is a certain kind of a lilt to it. In a way, it makes the meter and the message put there completely indelible once it enters the mind, the heart. It's very catchy and not an easy meter to compose in. Not at all easy, very difficult in fact. So this is the Totakashtakam. Adi Shankaracharya had many students, but when we see a picture, we always see 4 students. That doesn't mean he had only 4 students, okay? We should not go away with thinking that. He had 4 highly exalted, very spiritually evolved, developed adhikaris as students. And who were they? One of them was called, they were all greatly accomplished authors, writing commentaries, etc. and scholars in their own right. So one is Sureshwaracharya, and there is some controversy whether he is the same one as the one that Adi Shankara had a dialogue with and defeated in a debate, whose name was Mandana Mishra. There are some disagreements and agreements about that. Doesn't matter. Sureshwaracharya. And he is called Vartikakara because his favorite mode of writing commentary was in the form of verse. A commentary in verse is called Vartika. And he has written Vartika for Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, very big Upanishad, beautiful Vartika, very intricate. He was elderly and he was just in his own, world. And then they were all in their own worlds, as we'll see. And next we'll discuss Hastamalaka. Hastamalaka means the one who has the knowledge in his palm, just like a gooseberry. How easy it is to pick a gooseberry, amla, off the tree and hold a hand, just like that for him the knowledge came. And this lad came very young, and in those days, if the child showed sadhu-like tendencies, renunciant tendencies, the parents would be honest with themselves and take the child to a sadhu. This is where you belong, and leave him there. This is what they would do, because what is it? Let the child be happy. Because already there are those samskaras, those impressions are there. Why try to make him or her something that they are not? And so this child never talked. 10, 11 years old, did not say a word. And then the parents heard that, and very exalted sadhu by the name of Shankara is coming through town, coming through their village. They went and said, I think he's yours, I don't think he's ours. So, what do you think? Because he doesn't speak. So Adi Shankara, he went and caught hold of Adi Shankara's feet, the boy, but didn't say a word. Then Adi Shankara said, "Who are you, O child?" That's all he said. Kastvam bala, who are you, O child? And then the child broke into verse. Sanityopalabdhi swarupoham atma, he said. I am that atma, which is in the form of the self-evident self, which is always available, and that is what I am. And he composed extempore, right there, a wonderful poetry That was called Hastamalakiya. It is known as Hastamalakiya. Very beautiful, poem. So we have Sureshwara, Hastamalaka. Then another student by the name of Padmapada. Padmapada, so he gained his name because he was very protective of Adi Sankara, his guru, and he was extremely, what's the word for it, had a lot of śraddhā, devotion. And it is said that he was on the other bank of the river. He was on the other side of the river, and it is said that he came he was doing something there. Adi Sankara did not know that he was on the other bank of the river, and he just called out to him and said, "Hey, did you bring that manuscript I asked you to?" And Padmapada, unmindful of the river and the waters, just started to walk on the river. And Bhagavan intervened and put lotuses wherever his feet would touch. That's why he is called lotus foot, Padmapada. Then the last one is our protagonist, the author of this work called Totakacharya, the meter in which he wrote, because everything he wrote was in this meter. He's written also one very big treatise called Shrutisara Samudharana. So the essence of the teachings he has written very nicely. That is also in this meter. So he was named after the meter, Totakacharya. Now, that was not his name. His name, I think, was Giri. And so, the Adi Shankara, he was very much, had a lot of devotion for Adi Sankara, like Padmapada, and they being younger, and they were in competition a little bit. So one may feel like, oh, that happened in those days also. Yes, as long as there is a human mind, these things will go on. Definitely there will be envy, there will be competition, there will be all kinds of things. And so, this is, so Padmapada was always a little bit jealous of this Giri. For two reasons. One is, he felt like this person doesn't know anything. Dull fellow. Keeps washing the teacher's clothes and keeps cooking for the teacher, and is in this service occupation. What is, and I am not like that. I am also serving him. I am also protective of him. But after all, we are here to study. That was one reason for his discomfort and his jealousy. The second reason for his envy was that Adi Sankara would always wait to start the class until Giri came into the room. Because he was always off washing clothes, drying this, cooking, cleaning, something or the other. And this irked Padmapada quite a bit. It irked him that, why is this fellow is just like a wall. You can teach that, when you teach a wall, what do you get in response? Is what you get when you teach Giri. Why do you have to wait? Hey Guru, oh Guru, shall we start the invocation? No, we'll wait till Giri comes. This made him uncomfortable. Because Padmapada was very, very proud of his erudition. He had everything committed to memory. He was brilliant. But Bhagavan has a way of equalizing everything. Padmapada wanted to go on a pilgrimage one time. Adi Shankara simply asked one question, why? Meaning, everything is right here, why do you want to go? No, no, I really want to go, I want to see this, I want to see this temple, I want to go here, I want to do that. I have to go. But why? Just be here. No, 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 I want to go. Sometimes there is that, what is that called? The travel bug, that comes. Wanderlust. And then Adi Shankara asked him, where are you going? I'm just going here and there, and on the way there is a village where my uncle stays, and he has invited me to stay for a few days. Adi Shankara said, don't stay there too long. Okay, I'll be back. So he went, and the uncle himself was a great scholar. And the uncle was a follower of another Swami called Prabhakara, who was another great erudite scholar, but who had a different take on Vedanta. And he invited his nephew. He says, what this? You're staying in the ashram, eating giris, cooking. This is how you have to, tell the story. You have to connect the dots. What is this you're doing in the ashram, eating this stupid giris, cooking? Parboiled rice and dal and everything. Come here, your auntie will make your delicate dishes for you, wonderful things. You can come and rest. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to cut the wood, carry the water, nothing. You just relax. You work so hard. You are a brahmachari. You just come. And he was delighted. He was very fond of his auntie too. And he thought, oh, I'll just be taken care of. I'll go. And he went. And of course, he had brought his manuscript. He's brought his manuscript, Panchapadika. It was some kind of a commentary of the commentary of Adi Shankara, it was. And this is what student life is. They may never study, but they'll carry all their books. The books will have a trip and come back. It'll never even be opened. But that's how the student scholar thinks. Oh, even if I have 2 minutes, I will edit it. So he took the manuscript. It's not like, he had a USB pen drive. No. In those days, manuscript means it is palm leaves. And there you had to guard it with your life, because if you kept the bag of palm leaves next to you and took a nap, next minute you'd hear a baaing, bleating sound. And what? You're surrounded by goats who have assimilated the knowledge. Yeah. Ajabhakshitam. So therefore, you have to be very careful. And so you couldn't let it out of sight. And then not only what to talk about, what is that called? What to talk about this goats, even small things. What are they called? Starts with a T. Termites, yes. Termites, when they have gone through something, it just looks like it is intact. You try to lift it up, it is powder. This is what it is. So he was clutching the bag all the time, like an insecure boy, and the uncle was curious. In fact, the uncle had lured him just for this. What's that? Oh, what can I tell you? I have not slept at all guarding this thing. This is my commentary of the commentary of Advaita commentary on the Brahma Sutras, Adi Shankara's commentary, etc. He says, I've done this. And I have to go to 2 other places. Will you please guard it for me? Sure. Give me that. And then he came back in 3-4 days to find the manuscript destroyed. Totally destroyed. The uncle said, uncle was jealous, and uncle did not want Advaita to come up in this particular way. He wanted his gurus, to be shining. And this person was a direct threat. So Padmapada's uncle said, this is not gonna see the light of day. And then what? Bye-bye, Panchapadika. invited the goats for brunch. Finished. Done. Then the boy came back and the uncle had a long face, sad emoji. Oh, you're back. I'm so sorry. I could not keep my word to you. And the goats ate it. It was just for 2 minutes. The door was opened and I don't know how they smelt the leaves and how they came in, and he just made a big show of feeling so sad. Weepy face, sad face. All this. Now everything is lost, isn't it? He said. Padmapada was a nice fellow. He said, don't worry, uncle, it's okay. Doesn't matter, these things happen. Yeah, but now everything is lost, isn't it? He wanted to make sure there is no Xerox, okay? Padmapada said, you know what? This is not a problem. Because everything is right here, uncle. Too much information as it turned out. Too much info. Not good. So the uncle conspired to give him something that would make his brain not only dull, but slightly mad. So, such a terrible fellow. These kinds of people exist. That itself is a big shock. So the uncle conspired and said, this is exactly what, this is exactly where I need you. I need you to be raving, ranting, anything but the Upanishads. You can rave and rant about all these things. Some kind of a medicine that gave him some hallucinogenic he gave. And he said, oh no, Adi Sankara was right. Come here. Yeah, come. Adi Sankara was right. I should have not stayed here at all. I should have not gone on this pilgrimage. But Adi Sankara, out of the love of Padmapada, saw that he was suffering, got him out of there, cured him. And then he said, this manuscript will never be written, O Guru, because I have forgotten everything. Now I'm cured of the hallucinations, no doubt, but I don't remember anything. And Adi Sankara said, fortunately you read it to me. Now it's in my head. So Adi Sankara dictated it to him. And then, Padmapada wrote it. So why are we talking about Padmapada? To show what kind of an erudition he had and how his envy against our Totakacharya. Our means the one we are going to study, whose work we are going to study. Totakacharya was in a way, how it played out and how there is a universal sense. He was made to eat universal sense of justice. He was made to eat humble pie. Wasn't he? Yeah. So this was Padmapada. And then Totakacharya was always humming a tune by the river, washing the teacher's clothes and cooking and cleaning and doing all these things and being late for class. Not only was he late for class, he never seemed to take any notes. And I'm sure many of us in the room are feeling strangely vindicated. Oh, I too am constantly late for class. Oh, there is hope for me too. I also don't like taking notes, so maybe I'm all right. But, however, that is not that is where the similarity between us and Totaka stops. All right. Because he had deep śraddhā and bhakti. And even though he was late and never opened his mouth, because we are so used to oversharing. Anything little, it goes on the blog. And there is one more new thing, not only blog, vlog, V-L-O-G, video. You make a video of you having coffee in the morning. That is, the whole world should wake up to that news. Okay? This is called vlog. Why? Don't ask me, Ask the persons who post these things. So, he was, he kept to himself, didn't really talk much. And even in those days, like in these days, we generally make the mistake of thinking that the person who does not talk does not know. Meaning, the person who does not talk doesn't have much to talk about, otherwise they would be discussing Atma, Brahman, something. Here is everybody chatter, and here is one keeping mum, and so that means he doesn't know. This is what everybody thought. So one day, Adi Sankara again said, again Padmapada said, somebody said in the class, shall we start the Sahana Vavatu invocatory mantra before that is chanted before the class? Adi Sankara said, not yet. We are going to wait for Giri. And Giri never got scolded for being late. This was another, it was like salt on the wound. Not only is he late, but he's not even chastised for being late. What kind of a person is this? He must be the teacher's pet. Then Padmapada tried to point out. He pointed out to a wall behind which Adi Sankara was sitting and said, teaching Giri is like teaching the wall, oh master. Not very nice, is it? Yeah. In fact, he said the wall will be more responsive, but our Giri will not. It is said that Adi Sankara wanted to shut up these students, especially Padmapada, once and for all. So some kind of a transmission took place between the teacher and the student Giri came out of the water singing, chanting this Totakashtakam. He came out just in ecstasy, and it was so perfect that nobody could find fault. And then finally he had spoken, and so they knew, he knew, and they left him alone. And that is when Giri was named Totakacharya. And this is a very famous octet. It is chanted in most Advaita ashrams. In most ashrams that teach non-duality, it is chanted as a daily practice of how to learn to relate to the Guru, how to learn to relate to the source of knowledge. And if we all are able to see in our Guru what Totaka saw in his, the knowledge is clinched. That is the idea. Very, very beautiful. So open to that is a very cute Adi Sankara on the cover. This is supposed to be a chant, but because of its, and it can be chanted in many ways. And because of its lilting nature, one cannot but help sing it on occasion. There are many tunes. This is one thing that I imbibed from Pujya Swamiji, and so that is what we will try that. So let us repeat. Vidita khila shastra sudha jaladhe महितोपनिषद कथितार्थ निधे हृदये कलये विमलं चरणं भवशंकर देशिक मे शरणं Bhava Shankara Deshika me Sharanam. Shall we try that together? You did very well. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. Together. Vidita khila shastra sudha jaladhe mahitopanishad kathitartha nidhe hridaye kalaye vimalam charanam bhava shankara deshika me sharanam bhava shankara deshika me sharanam. We'll take the last line first. Because as you can see, if you look down a couple of verses, you will see that it is a refrain, chorus refrain. It is in the vocative case. Adi Shankara is being directly addressed. Hey Guru, you, like this. So, Bhava Shankara, Hey Bhava Shankara, He Deshika, Me Sharanam. Me Sharanam means my refuge. Me means mine. So we'll see the Sharanam later, but let us see. So, who is my refuge? And the subject of the refuge, the place of the refuge is Shankara. Shankara, name of the Guru, but again, as in all Vedanta texts, there is a pun. If there is no pun, there is no fun. And what is this pun? Very nice. The pun is that it is also Lord Shiva. Name of Lord Shiva is Shankara. And in fact, Adi Shankara was seen as an incarnation of Lord Shiva in the body. And so, here, Guru is one with Bhagavan. Non-separate from Bhagavan, Guru is one with Bhagavan, and this is what is Shankara. The word Sham means blessing, Mangalam. Sham Mangalam iti uchyate. Auspicious, blessing. How do we know that the word Sham is Mangalam? Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha. This is a Shanti mantra, full of Shams. Shanno Bhavatvaryama, Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi, Shanno Vishnururukramaha. Sham Sham. Sham means blessing. Here in the Shanti mantra, Sham Naha. May there be blessing for us from the source, that is the sun. Like that. And how does the sun bless? By being there every day. May you not turn into a red dwarf, yellow dwarf, blue dwarf, at least during our lifetime. Be there for us. Cook our food. Give us vitamin D. That's the source of vitamin D, not the pills that we pop. Yeah. So, that is the source. Give us food. You know, all the trees that grow, the plants, the vegetables. Oh, but what if I'm non-vegetarians? Well, there's, it's the same difference, because either you eat the plants directly, or you feed the plant to the animal and eat the animal. Yeah. That's all. Food is oshadhibhyo annam. Taittiriya Upanishad says. Oshadhibhya annam. Food is from plants. The source of food is plants. And so, here we are asking the sun to be a source of blessing and to help us to save the fossil fuels by making solar panels and all these things. And so the word Sham means blessing. Sham Mangalam. Kara means, it's a little suffix, kara. Kara means karoti iti karaha, the one who does sham, the one who gives blessings, the one who is a source of blessing. Sham also means that which is pleasing, which I like, which I want, which is mangalam, auspicious. But then, when you look at what is a blessing, the onus of the blessing, the subject matter, the topic of the blessing keeps changing, does it not? For one traveling through the desert, water is sham. Water is the source of blessing. And for somebody else, chocolate cake is the source of blessing. Movie is a source of blessing. So many things that one can pray for. When you invoke Lord Shankara as the source of blessing, the number of things that one prays for is unending. Give me this. Give me a happy family life. Give me children that are brilliant. And give me abundance, money. And give me name, give me fame. All this is considered sham. Interestingly, Lord Shiva, even though is invoked as the destroyer, he is invoked for all these other things as well. Very interesting. Both for bhukti. Bhukti means objects of enjoyment, as well as for mukti, freedom. Bhukti mukti pradata. So, if one doesn't know enough, one asks for bhukti. Bhukti means objects of enjoyment, things that can be consumed in the world, things that can be enjoyed, things that I feel I cannot live without, things that I want when? Right now. Things I wanted yesterday and it's still not here. Bhukti. And then this is exactly the problem here, because the objects of enjoyment, including people, events, situations, all that are included in objects. So in the objects of enjoyment, they soon turn into objects of distress immediately. So it is sham, and then 1 minute it is sham, 1 minute it is no sham. And 1 minute, oh, you are wonderful. Where were you all my life? And the next minute, I think we need space. Very, very, without, seamlessly it evolves into that. I think we need space. We need to take space. And because this is how, because the human mind decides on what sham is based on raga and dvesha. Preferences, prejudices, strongly put in the head. So this is how one decides. This is sham, this is not sham. Yesterday it was sham, now it is just some problem or another. Yeah. Shakara turns into sakara. So this is, some nuisance or another. Yesterday it was sham, now it is some problem. This is how one decides, because the mind is wavering all the time. And the mind is a slave to the likes and dislikes. The ahankara is a slave to the mind. And then, we have a sad trajectory of not gaining anything that is lasting. Because whatever I thought was lasting was just the last thing I got before the desire for the next thing came. Not lasting at all. Everything is ephemeral. Any source of sham that the person wants is finite. Being finite, immediately it goes away. Now sham, now gone. Even if my own views about that object of sham doesn't change, even though it may still be lovable to me, I have already shifted. I have moved on. It is no longer sham for me. Even if I don't say that, that object itself either self-destructs or is destroyed by the elements, or a combination of both, or it goes away from me. I don't go away from it, but it has gone away from me. So you see, this is what the sum total of our prayers for sham are like that. A series of disappointments, which gives rise to the adage, be careful what you ask for, ... because you may get it. Yeah. And then what, you are left holding something you don't want. Or you're left holding something that just is like you're left holding a time bomb. Tick, 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 tick. It's going to explode. It's going to end. Before that, it's going to explode in the face. Nasham. Correct. Very nice. See how much fun is a pun. Yeah. Sham becomes, there is a nasham of sham. Nasha means destruction. So this is where some viveka is required. A discrimination of what to ask for. What should I ask for? Because everything that I think is auspicious immediately becomes inauspicious. Either I don't get it, or there is viyoga. Viyoga means there is a separation. Viyogantaha sarve samyogaha. The Guru brother of Totakacharya says in the Vartika. Sureshwaracharya says in the Vartika. All coming together lasts until separation. Everything that comes together has to separate. Everything that is put together falls apart. So there is a grieving heart that can only stop grieving if it asks for more things. That's what it thinks. Time to pray for more sham, more sham, more sham. Hey Shankara. And even though Lord Shiva has got this epithet of destroyer, resolver, really he's also invoked as Ashutosha. Very easily pleased. You just offer, what is that, Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. Water, a small tulasi leaf, basil leaf. Little bit of water you offer Lord Shiva. And he says, oh, what do you need? Vishnu, not so much. Yeah. Vishnu says, where are the 56 dishes? Chappan bhog. Yeah. Where are the 56 dishes that you promised me? Why haven't you made them yet? So, Lord Shiva is supposed to be easily pleased, extremely gullible. Gullible means innocent, an innocent giver. And in fact, he gets himself into trouble a little bit. Because all these devotees with a lot of hubris, demonic devotees, come like Ravana, etc., who want world domination. They say, I have stood on one leg for several years. Oh, what do you want? World domination. And poor Shiva says, Tathastu, so be it. And Vishnu has to come running. What were you thinking? Good thing my chakra is nice and polished. Can give this fellow moksha immediately. So, in the Puranic stories, Vishnu is always rescuing Shankara, rescuing Lord Shiva from these, random promises, impulsive promises. Another story is that of the Bhasmasura, another person who said anything that I should touch should turn into ashes. Shiva says, yeah, I like ashes. Okay, tathastu. What can be wrong in that? Tathastu. And then the fellow said, come here a bit. I want to touch you. Shiva ran for his life, went to Vaikuntha to take refuge. These are just stories. You can't take it seriously. It's just for fun. Highlights the abundance that Lord Shiva is, and the freedom in giving, and the compassion, Karunakara, the compassionate one. And so he hides in Vishnu's abode. And Vishnu said, okay, not again. Just 2 days ago I rescued you from another skirmish there. You keep getting into these kinds of situations. All right. You just go have some coffee. I'll be right back. And he took the avatar of a beautiful damsel, which Bhasmasura immediately fell in love with. Oh, I want to hug you. She says, well, I want to marry you. No, I'm not that kind of a girl. And I come from a long line of all these, pandits who do all these rituals. So first we have to do a lot of rituals before we can get into matrimony. Yes, anything you want. So do like this. He does like that. Do like that. Do like this, do like this, all these things. What are we doing? Oh, we are invoking. We are invoking Indra. We are invoking Surya. We are invoking the directions. Do like this. We are asking them all to be present for this wonderful union. Do like this. And then do like this, she says. Self-combustion. Okay. So, this is Lord Shiva. Gives whatever one asks. And why is he known as the destroyer? He's known as the destroyer because he destroys self-ignorance. Which leads me to the topic of the ultimate Sham. The everlasting Sham is the destruction of self-ignorance, because of which I want something or another all the time. The love for the Atma, the love for the eternal I, the love for that which is everlasting, the love for Ananda, joy, is not understood as the love of the self. And therefore, there is a kind of what is that called? A transference that takes place. So the love and the craving and the yearning for the infinite is transferred on to finite objects all the time. That's why strange desires people have, silly desires. All you have to do is walk down the aisles of the supermarket and then you see. Because the supermarket is there to address the needs of the customers. So you see, what all people want, it is shocking, really. Why do you want this? Oh, this is how it is. This is what we want. Once I had this is not about supermarket, but a related story. Once I had something in some town. I think I went to Washington, D.C., I had a conference. So the conference organizers put me in a hotel, and after long travel, I was just happy to just go to sleep. Suddenly there is a knock on the door. I thought, who could it be? It was late, night. Opened the door, and there was a lady that came in. She had a board on her lapel, sleep specialist. I said, what? No, I am your friendly sleep specialist. I have been told to tell you, I have been sent, the hotel sends me to every room for every new check-in to tell all the features of getting good sleep. So So I said, okay, let us listen to this also. In fact, she was already putting me to sleep. She was indeed a sleep specialist. So I said, okay, come on in. And she looked around, looked here, looked there. And then she said, these are, what should I say, this is, have you looked at this? And I indeed hadn't. There was some kind of a contraption that was by the bedside. I said, what on earth is this? She says, it is some kind of a natural light simulator. So first it is mild, then it is a little more strong, then it is just like the sun flooding in. And you can set it like this to go from the mildest setting to the biggest setting in either 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or if you want to really rest for half an hour, you can do that. Shall I show you how to do that? I said, yeah, but I'm a little puzzled. She said, what? Can't I have the same effect by sleeping with the windows open? I mean, the drapes open. She had to concede yes. But this is exactly what the gamut of human desires are. All kinds of nonsensical desires, which go under this rubric of sham. Because of self-ignorance, I do not know the I, and therefore the I morphs into all kinds of desires for the not I. This is self-ignorance. And when the self-ignorance is gone, that is the departure of self-ignorance is what we want. And Lord Shiva is good for departures, destruction of self-ignorance. So therefore we say, Shankara. And what kind of a sham is this? It's a lasting, everlasting sham. It is Mangalam. Mangalam is not that which is auspicious, for 5 minutes is not considered auspicious. After 10 minutes or after 5 years, it becomes inauspicious. No, that is not auspicious. Auspicious is that which stays auspicious forever. The ending of the self-ignorance is the discovery of myself as Shiva, the most pure, the most auspicious one with the Lord. That is Sham. Sham means it's an end to my seeking. That is Sham. That which keeps me as a seeker is very inauspicious. I have a choice. I can either be the seeker of the infinite, which is what we are doing here, or be an infinite seeker. Very big difference. If you are an infinite seeker, you are seeking infinitely. If you are the seeker of the infinite, then the quest is finite. That is what one wants, the quest to be finite. And the one who makes this quest, which is going on from lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, into he makes an end to this quest, puts an end to the seeker by joining him or her with the sought, which is Ishvara, is Shankara. Very, very nice. But then there is an epithet. It's not just Shankara, it is Bhava Shankara. What is this Bhava Shankara? We will see when? Tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.